I've talked about this over the past several days and emphasized how this stimulus could potentially affect the economy. There are currently talks about 208 million Americans having access to a large stimulus that we have never seen here in the United States. I want to break down the current state of the economy and how it will affect lower class and certain lower to middle class households. The main reason for this is that you will only be eligible for this stimulus if you own a home with equity. I'll explain what someone told me and provide you with a real example of how this stimulus might save them over $2,000 a month in a moment. But before, please take 2 seconds to do this if you find this helpful. Click the like button if you love my daily updates. All right, let's get started. I discussed the other day how this big stimulus may benefit millions and millions of Americans, but it could also harm millions and millions of people. Millions of Americans would also benefit from this, which is why the Business Insider story I showed you was this one. It claims that the U.S. could provide a $980 billion stimulus to homeowners at no additional cost. Well, some were arguing that it should have been $900 billion. It might reach a $2 trillion level. Even this same article claims that a planned measure might start pumping almost $11 trillion, or $1 trillion, into consumer wallets as early as this summer and reach $2 trillion by the fall. Guess what? Meredith Whitney claims that simply adjusting this particular aspect of the mortgage market, $3 trillion could be added to the U.S. economy without any federal spending. Here's all you need to know to realize how much money is sitting in equity at historic levels. Look at this. Whether you own a home or not, you need to pay attention because Americans are sitting on a record amount of tapeable home equity, $11 trillion to be exact. That's how much money is being held in your home's equity. Affect you, which is why I was speaking with an expert the other day. I won't name him or tell you where he's from, okay, just to keep him safe. However, throughout our conversation he said, concern and the whole, situation with Freddy Mac's appearance and his proposal for them to enter the secondary mortgage market is not new. It has happened previously, but the reason they wish to take this action now is because they recognize the potentially. They are aware that, in the first place, they might be able to profit from this. In the second place, it's a massive market with the potential to generate billions or perhaps trillions of dollars. However, he was stating that this is one of the primary reasons why people are looking at I want to show you something. It states a housing plan could liberate over $1 trillion. Banks are currently not lending to people on the secondary market because they do not want a second mortgage due to what happened back in 2007. The concept for homeowners is for Freddie Mac to begin buying secondary mortgages, which would provide borrowers with an affordable means to access equity. The reason for this hasn't happened yet, according to homeowners, is that there aren't many willing buyers in addition to the fact that you have limited options. Must find a buyer who is eager to buy, but you also need to be in the appropriate situation and have the right credit. I would want to provide you with a little example. This is what someone remarked on, and they inquired about if a HELOC would Assistance Home Equity Lines of Credit, or HELOCs, are essentially second mortgages. But this is what they said. I have a $400,000 house with a $150,000 mortgage. In addition, I owe $40,000 on 2 credit cards, 2 half auto loans, and a little amount of debt for medical care. I pay $548 a month for my autos, and $135 a month for each of my 2 credit cards. I owe $10,000 on credit card debt and have paid just about $113,000 in medical expenses. It is $760 a month, so I currently pay a little bit over $7, or rather, a little bit over $1,570 a month. When they asked if a secondary mortgage would help me in this situation, I indicated that it would. A home equity loan, HELOC, could be beneficial as it could reduce your monthly payment to $350 if you had a 10% annual percentage rate. Please note that I am not a financial advisor or mortgage broker. I'm just a guy on YouTube. You total up each of these payments. Your 2 credit cards total up to your 2 partial auto payments, which is 4 payments there. You also have medical bills, which is 5 payments totaling 5 separate payments at this time. pay roughly $1,570 a month. Consequently, if you obtain a home equity line of credit and withdraw some of the equity, let's say $40,000, your payment will increase to roughly $350 because you will now be using your equity to secure the debt. Okay, so let's talk about your personal property along with your home. That sounds wonderful, so I'm going to recommend that you should budget roughly $1,200 per month. Nothing could go wrong there. However, when you have a record-breaking $1 trillion in home equity, anything can go wrong. Incorrect assurance. This is the reason why it might not work. Some people, and this is a terrific method to leverage your wealth, apply for a home equity line of credit and use the funds to purchase a second property, perhaps, and purchase a real estate investment. Personally, I wouldn't use a home equity line of credit to purchase a second residence. However, if you don't have extra money sitting around or don't know what you're doing, I would definitely buy an investment property. Bank. Just in case I never went and did that, this is where some people could get into trouble if they go and use the equity in your home to extract, say, $100,000. The first thing that will happen is that the money will be spent as you spend it. Banks and Freddy Mac are not going to give you 100% of your equity. They are not going to take it out like that. In the economy, you spend $1 trillion. Or let's just pretend that the tappable home equity is at $11 trillion. They did in the year 2007. No, what they're going to do is say, all right, I'll give you up to 80%, meaning that, for example, if your house is worth $400,000, you may receive up to $320,000, which would cover both your initial mortgage and any equity out. Let's say we can extract $8 trillion instead of $1 trillion, as you recall, during the epidemic. I think we spent a little bit more than that, but we spent trillions and trillions of dollars that resulted in an enormous spike in inflation because it was a stimulus. So if all these individuals can now go and take out some equity from their homes, the economy will be stimulated, which is why it affects the middle class and lower-income people. Low-income households that do not own a home and are unable to access their equity are going to be severely harmed because individuals are using their home equity to purchase new cars, apartment buildings, and second homes, in addition to their primary residence. Line of credit since, once more, if your annual percentage rate is only 10%, it might be lower than what you would pay if you applied for a car loan. As a result, you will proceed and make this payment, which will once more lower your monthly auto payment. You pay for your automobile in cash instead of having a car payment, so all these people are going to consider all these other options. They're going to purchase a new car, go on vacation, or renovate their kitchen, which doesn't bring. It doesn't make you any money to update your automobile. It doesn't make sense to take another vacation. If I were going to go out and purchase another investment property, then maybe. But people will settle debt. I know they're planning to get a new car, but that's probably not a smart choice. Travel on vacation as they can afford it right now, and it will be less expensive if they utilize the HELOC. When they go on vacation, they should use a credit card at a rate of 20%, so they will spend like they have never spent money before, and will utilize all of the equity in their house. They will also take money from the polling period or another source. The issue, and this is a big issue, is that if we go ahead and cap all the equity that is currently in the, home equity market, they will have to pay back this loan for whatever many months. We're going to mess up. We will be in trouble because inflation will rise. If inflation rises, housing prices may rise as well, but this won't be good for low-income and middle-class people, who are the ones who would be negatively impacted. Those who would be most affected because they have nowhere to turn. Therefore, once more, this is a significant stimulus that might have a positive influence on the markets and on us, but it could also have a negative impact on us. We'll see what transpires, but I wanted to share this with you and provide you with the example of one person because there are situations in which getting a HELOC makes sense if you can save $1,200 a month. All right, paying off all of your loans by consolidating them, and now you just have a $350 payment rather than a $1,600 payment. That makes sense, But if you're doing this to free up more cash for a car purchase, a trip, home renovation, painting, or a new roof, it's probably not the best idea. The greatest thing, so I'll end it there. However, as of right now, that's all we know. Once again, thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next one.